Hey, yesterday the CEO created a post about an exchange system. The developers also answered a question and are working on some new planetary modifiers. We also have news about J.O.E.L, the Major Order, and so much more in today's video. If you find this video helpful at any point, let me know by tapping the like button below. We are going to begin this video by discussing the latest community update for July, and if you have not seen this, there's an Arrowhead developer who answered a few questions in this post on Steam, and there are only 2 questions that I felt were worth mentioning. For example, this first question can be seen here and it says, "What's your favorite thing you've contributed to Helldivers 2? And Vidar answered with, "My favorite thing I've worked on isn't yet released live, but of the things that are out there in the galaxy, I think the factory starters were my favorite contribution, as it was one of the first full units I got to tackle since coming aboard. Going online and seeing the first reactions to them from streamers and fans alike was very satisfying." Now here's my thoughts on this. If he has worked on the Strider previously, then he's likely working on something special for the automatons, and we know as of right now the Strider with rockets is coming soon. There's also a tank that can send down a barrage of missiles, and everything else that was shown in the developer update video. Now maybe this time around we'll see a boss, and if so, I'd like to see an automaton boss similar to what we saw in Helldivers 1, such as the Siege Mech, which had different names like Lurtz, Grumguard, and a few others. I would love to see something like that in the game, but with a different design. Continuing on towards the last and final question here, it says, "That's quite the tease. Can you tell us anything about what you're working on right now?" Vidar responded that he's currently working on some new planetary modifiers. You can see his answer is right here and said, "I'm currently working on a planetary modifier that will see a new lethal variance of some of our existing bug spawn. I'm pleased with how they're turning out, and I think they will present a unique challenge for the Helldivers. Another enemy I've worked on is the Impaler, which I will not say more about at this point, though returning Helldivers will recall this name with a certain amount of trepidation." Okay, not only has Vidar worked on the automatons, but also on the terminates like the Impalers, so it might not be an automaton boss after all. If it is a boss anyways, it could very well be the Hive Lord. And there's a lot of ifs here, but if that's the case, I'm perfectly okay with this, and I hope the Hive Lord has received some additional changes, like can it spit out biofluid? That is something I would love to see, and I don't think that was in the first game, so an evolved Hive Lord would be amazing. On that note, 2 days ago we got a surprise post on Reddit by Arrowhead Game Studios' own CEO Shams Georgiani. This post is fairly large, so I will basically explain what was said here. I think we'll start off with the title because it says, "Help brainstorm ideas for resource use for progression." Then about midway in this post, Shams mentioned this and said, "I get bombarded all the time with suggestions and questions on if how resources, metal samples, requisition slips, etc. can be used in new ways." Okay, so he created this post so that he can see some of those ideas and suggestions. He also said that they have their own designs. For example, he mentioned this right here. "We have our own designs and ideas, but we'd love to hear yours. In due course, we'll probably be formalizing how we solicit feedback like this into our proper surveys, but I'm just humble nerd asking for your help for now. Reddit is an okay stand-in as it allows the best ideas to rise to the surface, hopefully." Now, Shams also threw in a disclaimer in this post stating to not interpret this as a promise that your ideas or even my ideas will be used in the game, and said that it's a friendly conversation. In this post, I also commented a few ideas of my own, as well as others have. Now, Shams threw in his own suggestion in this post and said, "My suggestion, which was shot down, was to copy the golden I-64 modifiers as a fun thing to unlock for missions. This would have been interesting to see in Helldivers 2 because GoldenEye had a few modifiers like invisibility, sticky grenades, and even rubber grenades. Also, on a side note, since I brought up sticky grenades, how come we don't have sticky grenades? I feel like we need a grenade like that. We have a fuse and an impact version of grenades, but nothing that can stick." Okay, with that aside, Shams Georgiani replied to one idea that was about weapon customization in bayonets. This post can be seen here, and this player said, "Gun attachments like swapping out the sights and scopes, magazine, plasma, charge packs, side grades, a lot more shots for slower reload, cooldown, and vice versa, bayonets." Then this post right here got the attention of Shams Georgiani, and he responded with, "Bayonets, heyo." So now the reason why I'm bringing this up is not because he replied to this, but because there's actually a leak surrounding this exactly, as well as some melees. Now how do I know this? Well, because Ironsights revealed on X that Arrowhead is currently in the process of creating bayonets and melees. He posted this with an image with some text, and it says right here, ability ID avatar melee weapon bayonet, avatar melee knife stab, avatar melee knife stab prone. So maybe this will be something we'll see in the next Warbond. Personally, I would like to see something like this on a primary weapon, but hey, if they end up throwing it on a stratagem support weapon instead, then I wouldn't mind that either, to be honest. They could add a World War II shovel for melee, and the bayonets could go on whatever weapon they want. I think a primary weapon like a scout rifle would be cool to see because, as of right now, we only have 2 scout rifles, so a third one with a bayonet is something I would like to see. And the developers definitely have their eyes on us and our suggestions. And you know who else has their eye currently on us? J.O.E.L. J.O.E.L currently has his eyes on all of us. And he might also have hinted at the Illuminates in the process. Because the developers over at Arrowhead Game Studios created a post featuring a bizarre video of Joel's office, complete with a warning on the door and his name spelled out in an acronym. Now, I have no idea what the acronym could mean. Now, if you have any idea as to what it could mean, let me know down below in the comments. Feel free to share your thoughts. Anyways, in this video, they zoomed in on J.O.E.L as he unleashed a barrage of Bile Titans on an unsuspecting Helldiver. He then ejected another Helldiver from a destroyer in a rather sinister move, and even took control of a freaking Hulk to chase after another Helldiver. And you know, as entertaining as this truly was, they might have also hinted at the Illuminate. As you can see right here, this message says, players approaching extraction, fire blue beam. In this video, just before J.O.E.L could press the yes button, the cameraman coughed, causing J.O.E.L to turn around and unleashing a scream that is, I would say, kind of like Left 4 Dead screamer, right? Sending this cameraman flying and presumably killing him. So J.O.E.L killed a cameraman, yeah. So not only is he the game master, but he also might be possessed and potentially facing jail time. Man, those warrants are gonna get crazy. Jokes aside, there is another section of this video that shows the galactic war map on the right side of J.O.E.L's monitor and some planets that are red. And I'm not too sure what this could mean. I mean, is this a hint that the Illuminate are coming? I mean, if it was, I would imagine they would be on the bottom part of the galactic war map instead of the left and right side. Continuing forward, I did not catch this or really question it at all, but some players have noticed that the Inflammable passive might be improperly named. Because as of right now, currently the passive gives a 75% resistance to fire damage, and the name Inflammable wouldn't certainly match that description, would it? Unless the developers are implying it as a joke, because that's probably what we'll end up doing anyway, right? Setting each other on fire once, you know, this next Warbond is available and ready to be purchased. Anywho, this player created a post entitled it, Inflammable perk is improperly named, and then wrote, I can't tell if this is an in-universe joke or not, but inflammable means almost the exact same thing. Inflammable actually means self-igniting, and is usually more dangerous around fire and more likely to burst into flames. Yeah, I'm gonna say it could very well be a joke, and if not, I'm sure we'll see them correct that problem before the 8th, which of course is Freedom's Flame Warbond, if you did not know. On to the next, we need to discuss the latest major order, which appears to be failing. I typically hold a pessimistic view, which some of you would probably consider a Debbie Downer. Anyways, with the automaton major orders, I do not believe we're going to be able to complete this one as of late, and I honestly thought we were going to complete this major order, but now I don't believe it will happen. We have about 5 hours left in this MO, and according to the Helldivers 2 companion site, it will take approximately 17 hours to completely liberate Wesen. If we can rally up additional 10,000 players or Helldivers, then we might be able to complete this, but as of right now, it's not looking like that will happen. On that note, we also have another bugged personal order, and it says kill 5, but it doesn't specify what to kill. This is a known issue, as you guys know, but it's somewhat amusing to see it reappear. Alrighty, last but not least, we're going to talk a little bit more about some leaks. Now, about midway in this video, I talked a little bit about the Bayonet, but what we're going to do now is talk about the President's Football, which is a nuclear briefcase. At least that's what it looks like. There's also a President's Mansion. We'll get into that, and we'll talk a little bit more about all of this. First and foremost, if you have not seen this, I will showcase it right here. This is the President's Mansion. We have some more information about this if you have seen that previous video, because right here it says the President's Mansion, protect the President's Mansion, mansion lost in time. So there's like a certain amount of time. So there's a possibility that this right here will be some sort of objective, maybe for Super Earth, maybe not. But as of right now, this is all that we know. And if you have seen my previous videos, some of you were wondering what the heck is this mansion going to be used for? And apparently that's what it's going to be used for. It's going to be some sort of objective. Now, not only that, but Ironsights also revealed this nuclear briefcase, which appears to be called the President's Football. And not only that, he also said this right here. This is likely tied to the Presidential Football Objective, so it's actually part of some sort of objective. Maybe there will be two objectives, the President's Football and defending the President's Mansion, so that's really cool. And last but not least, we have a leak here that says New Major Order drive towards Cyberstan. And that's the last and final leak. Now, this right here, I'm not too sure what to expect when it comes down to the Cyberstan planet, but I'm sure it's going to be insane. It's going to be intense. And as of right now, this is all that we know. And when it comes down to this information, just know, guys, that this stuff could change over time. The developers could possibly scrap some of these objectives, or they might change a few things. So yeah, just keep that in mind. With all that information being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news. We're now going to talk about the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you guys would like to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. The first comment is by Silly Cat Enjoyer 1. Having General Brash visit our Super Destroyer on Liberty Day would go so hard. Would like to see that happening and him having some crazy dialogue that reveals lore and stuff. The second comment is by William Hill 9658. As far as rocket devs go, I personally feel they don't need a reload. If they're gonna send 10 rockets devs with every encounter, just give them an ammo count, and once they run out of rockets, they're limited to just their blaster arm. And the last and final comment is by Dry Mexigon. If we're naming the Illuminate squid, I'd love to see a Kraken somewhere in the mix. A giant Illuminate traveling slowly, watching for divers, and other foreigners would be sick. There's your top 3 comments. Thank you guys for watching and commenting down below. If you guys have not done so, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and all that great stuff. And you guys can also, hit the like button below if you enjoyed the video also. So, yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.